Compared her to a train, and they said, this is the Colleen train. You either get on as a passenger or she's going to leave the station without you. You're just on one of the cars.
I am sorry I had to include that. I went and found a little Colleen train edit and it makes me giggle. I'm sorry, but I do find that is foreshadowing. That is definitive foreshadowing going on right there. Also that, and the fact that, and I'm not diminishing the story, I'm just pointing out 2 things that did take me aback, was when Joshua said that he came back home, and this is when he basically found out that Colleen and Eric, Colleen had cheated on Joshua with Eric, and that she was sat in her room on her bed playing her ukulele. Like, what is it with this bloody ukulele?
And when I walked through those doors, it reeked of alcohol and cigarettes. Nobody was there. And then I went upstairs and she was sitting on our bed playing her ukulele.
Joshua also tells us that there were other moments where he had actually caught Colleen messaging other people. He had suspected cheating going on for a little while before eventually they ended it when Colleen was called out for sleeping with her now husband, Eric. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full-on recap of the whole entire swoop video because I feel like you guys can just go and watch it for yourself, but I'm going to pick apart some key things, specifically revolving around the fact that I think that he did a really, really good job of honest about what actually happened and the allegations that were being thrown at him. Now, there were allegations around him kind of co-signing content with Colleen that wasn't suitable for an underage audience, co-signing the whole uncle gig thing that they had going on. Some content which was very much racially insensitive, and of course him being present in group chat with minors. Not only that, but then also the allegations that were revolving around Johnny, which we now know to not be truthful. But it's always good to hear Josh's side of the story. Now, as I'm just going to pinpoint some things that really stood out to me, like I say, go and watch the actual video. I did a video not that long ago on the fact that there's been a lot of speculation that Johnny Silvestri, will make sense in a minute. Johnny Silvestri has an alternate Twitter account. Now, if you go on to the truth about Johnny, there are some major parallels between Johnny and this Jennifer Flowers account. Now, Jennifer Flowers has been coined Jonathan Flowers, and this is the profile. If you're around on Twitter, you've probably seen it before. There's a very high speculation that this is in fact Johnny, and ever since Johnny has been called out, Jennifer Flowers was born, the account was created, and in their own words, they're going to speak on behalf of Johnny before he comes back. Basically, underneath all of their posts, they get called out left, right, and centre for being Johnny. And it's seemingly the only person on Twitter that is doing this. It's all a very, very strange... It's a very strange dynamic. Of course, this is completely alleged, but I will leave the video which I kind of broke down reasonings as to why people think this is Johnny. The reason why this is important is because if this is Johnny, then they really are just... it's stupid. It's so silly how far a person will go to prove that them basically trying to wreck someone's life was completely justified. And listening to what Josh had to say in regards to the reasoning as to why he gave Johnny his phone number, for instance, or the reason why he was trying to look after him, kind of given that big brother thing, it all started to make sense when Josh was like, Johnny was a lonely guy. He had no friends. He would literally hang around at the end of a meet and greet or a show, just the last one, and it became uncomfortable. And he was I felt like he was anyway, very candid, and explained it in a way that made me go, I really don't think, and I didn't think anyway after hearing about what was going on with Johnny's retelling of it, But I really don't think there was any malicious intent behind it. And listening to Josh talk made me think that even more.
I regret that me giving my number to him led to a course of events that has spun out of control and the narrative has gone completely haywire. Do I wish I could take back the moment where I gave him the number? I do, because I don't want the pain that he feels to have happened. But I don't think at any point was I using him, manipulating him, getting things from him, promising him all these crazy things.
Now, I personally don't believe there was anything sinister going on, but Jennifer Flowers seems to think there is. And they said, if you wronged someone and sent them an apology admitting you wronged them, then block them afterwards. That isn't growth, change, or reevaluating their position on things. And if you side with that, then that also makes you the problem, which was then met with a chorus of, Johnny, give it up, Johnny. We know it's you. It's all over Reddit. We know it's you. And these kind of things just kept on popping up over the course of the past few days, people calling them out left, right and centre. I mean, one person made a brilliant point and said, I think Josh eloquently and brilliantly described you in the interview, but I'll say it again. You're a sad, lonely, miserable man, Johnny, and I hope you get the psychiatric help you need in order to move on with your life. You are sick, stay on that path and you'll wind up psychotic. And that, in a very, very, very blunt way, is kind of how I feel about him allegedly operating this alternate Twitter account. It just screams like something really isn't good going on there. No good can come of this, Johnny. And the more that I kind of learn about this Twitter account and the more I'm looking into it and the more evidence is kind of building up around it, it really does seem like this person, I really do think it is Johnny, is online. And not in a healthy way. He is chronically online. And this is not good. This is not good at all. I would also just like to point out before I kind of move on past this whole like Johnny Silvestri, sorry, it's my dog, Johnny Silvestri alt account. This account has gone after pretty much everyone that Johnny would have an issue with. They've gone after Swoop. They have gone after Adam. They've actually been blocked by Adam. And they specifically target Josh. And one of the things that has been a source to target is Josh's issue with alcohol, the fact that he was an alcoholic. And some may say, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. People are going to struggle with their drinking even after abstaining for a certain amount of time. But for some reason, this Jennifer Flowers person really does have it out for Josh's drinking, even calling them an alcoholic piece of shit at times, which I can't even explain to you how disgusting that is, especially as in this interview, he spoke so candidly about the fact that he did turn to drink. He drank because it was the only form of release that he had when his whole entire world was falling apart. He details how his wife now basically had to hold his chest every single night to make sure that he was like still breathing, he wasn't going to have a panic attack. And the thing that most gets me about all of this is the fact that he wasn't believed even after COLLEEN and him broke up. He had everyone coming against him. He wasn't believed then. And then he wasn't believed now when he got dragged into this COLLEEN mess.
I truly think it was like he around and found out, and now he's just upset about it.
He's saying what I think everyone is saying. It didn't feel new to me. It didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's like, yeah, I heard that. People just don't care how it affects me.
And the fact that he has literally been told this before, or he's been told similar things like, well, you knew what was going to happen, or you found out now, and all of this, that is incredibly sad. His whole retelling of him and COLLEEN being together sounds like he wasn't treated fairly. He wasn't treated as a person within the relationship. He was made to feel very sort of isolated, and like his opinions and his feelings didn't matter. She wouldn't really spend a lot of time with him. She was always working. She didn't really put a lot into the relationship. He details the fact that he would try and do counselling, and he showed up every single week.
Tried to take us to couples therapy. She was very resistant. I was so down. I was so down. I don't mind talking about my feelings, obviously. she only went a handful of times, and I would always go, regardless if she would show up or not. And every single session, she didn't want to talk about her. It was always me.
But he was really fighting for it, and he was like an accessory to her. So when they then broke up, I can imagine that would hurt. That would severely crush you, especially knowing as you didn't really feel very seen when you were in the relationship. And then the minute that you're out, all of her fans and everyone and her lies start building up, and then no one wants to hear your version of events. So you are like a ghost in the relationship, and then when you break up, you are a ghost of an ex. Like that's it. And apparently COLLEEN told him that he can't ever talk about her ever. He cannot speak about her, otherwise she's going to get lawyers involved. But her and her fans had no issue dragging his name through the mud. And I think the way that I interpret it is, I think that she must, even though she was the one who betrayed him, she must have thought so highly of herself to think, well, you know, he wouldn't dare end it with me, you know, So she then felt wronged by it, even though she was the one who wronged him, i.e. the cheating and the other allegations that he's made. Now, these are just my own thoughts and feelings. I think that she is incredibly, from what I've seen and read about her, she's incredibly narcissistic. Narcissistic people cannot see any flaws of their own.
I absolutely felt silenced. And I felt like I didn't know specifically then that she was orchestrating things, because what she presented online was not go after him. But what she was saying to people in DMs was, he's this, he's that, making fun of me, critiquing things, making claims about me that are not true, things that never happen. But anytime I did try to open up, the amount of hate, the passionate hate that I would get from the people online, it was just never ending.
I mean, the more you look at this, the absolute bonkers it really does become. I mean, here is COLLEEN in a group chat with literal children telling them about, like, her ex-husband. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? First off, allegedly, you know, according to Josh, she's lying. Okay, she is lying. And then number two, she's telling this to a group chat with children in it. What is going through your mind? And then you've then told Josh not to say anything. It's just, in my eyes, it's pretty narcissistic behaviour, and it's abusive. So you can then kind of understand where this barrage of hate was coming from, seemingly out of nowhere. But it wasn't out of nowhere, because she was being all like, you know, fine and dandy, presenting wise, and then in group chats with minors, basically trying to insinuate that Josh was a person that he wasn't, and then silencing him by the wayside. Honestly, it's just absolutely disgusting. And there's a very large chunk of Swoop's video that was purely dedicated to him coming on and him going through the things that, you know, he has got to apologise for. He has got to hold his hands up for. Him being complicit in some of these group chats, you know, even if it is for a short amount of time. Him not realising that is going to be an issue. Him engaging on videos which do and have, you know, in extremely poor taste. I was never ever a fan of COLLEEN, Miranda Sings, Josh. I was never a fan of any of these people. I never used to watch them, so I've never seen in entirety the content that they're talking about. But I have seen the questionable content which Josh is alluding to and points out in some cases. The cheese balls in Miranda's trousers, and then the little kids have to pick it out, which is disgusting. The whole uncle skit, which was once again disturbing. Swoop also pulls them up on one thing and says, you know, it was the do-rag video, which I have never seen, but a lot of people are talking about it in the comment section, which obviously isn't okay. And Josh chalks it up to, in a complete and utter nutshell, he didn't realise, like, he didn't he didn't really realize how bad it was the more he was doing it. He kind of became numb to it. I think that was his choice of words, which obviously isn't an excuse, but you can sort of understand if you are, you know, constantly participating or whatever in these shows and you're doing them every single night or every week or herever, whatever, you are playing a character or you're just watching Colleen do this and that, you are going to become slightly numb to it. And he kind of put aside the fact that kids were watching in a bid to, you know, be able to make money and gain followers. And even he says now that wasn't good. He shouldn't have done that. And so I think in these circumstances, all you can do is accept the fact that people make mistakes. And I'm a very, very, very firm believer of that. A very firm believer of that. Now, Josh has actually come on recently after the Swoop documentary was aired and has voiced his anxiousness over this whole entire thing.
I just finished watching all of it. I had work today, so I had to wait till I was done. It's been an emotional day. I have a lot of thoughts. My mind also feels numb at the same time. But I'm going to keep it close to the chest for now. My mother-in-law is staying with us, which is awesome. So I'm going to go spend time with my wife and her and watch a TV show or something. So, and plus I have work in the morning. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the tweets coming in the DMs, and it looks like everyone's being pretty nice. So I appreciate you guys. And obviously you just Swoop. I mean, come on. Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of things I want to say. A lot of people I want to thank, and just be good to yourselves and get the rest you deserve. Don't focus too much on all this crap.
And the way that I kind of want to close this off is that I think, just after watching that, I think that this isn't just his opportunity to clear up allegations about Johnny or clear up allegations in general about, you know, the things he's done, you know, the whole group chat and some of the videos he's participated in. This isn't just that. For him, I really do think that this was his opportunity to be able to get everything off of his chest that he has been suppressing for so long because he's been so scared of what Colleen will do. He's now no longer scared of it. She's not a threat to him anymore. This was literally his opportunity, and you can literally see the relief. You can literally see the relief. I think a lot of us can relate to being in abusive relationships one way or another. We can relate to it, and that feeling of relief when you can finally just sit down and actually go, this is what happened in a safe space. And you know, you have to remember that he wasn't just dragged in real life, he was literally dragged all over the internet, a place of his work, which he had his whole life turned upside down. And so I feel like this isn't only a way of him clearing his name in, you know, past controversies and the whole Johnny incident, but this is a way of him literally being able to take a load off from everything Colleen has done to him. And, you know, even he said that, you know, he wasn't perfect. No one in a relationship is perfect. No one. But the way that the relationship was left and the fact that Colleen was not open about a lot of things that she played a part in, and then kind of knowingly tried to destroy his life, yeah, I feel like that's taking it to another level of, oh, well, two people just broke up. It's much more than that, especially it's aired so publicly. Those are just my thoughts and feelings. Obviously, please go check out my last video if you want to find out more about Jonathan. There's also a load of information on the Snark Reddit thread. I'll leave it linked down below. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.